When it comes to IQ, it doesn't really tell you a whole lot, right? The thing about IQ is that IQ can only predict so much. It can predict that you are most likely a faster learner than somebody with a lower IQ than you. It can predict you will think most likely in ways that people with lower IQ won't. Like you think outside the box or whatever. It will predict that you are greater at solving problems when presented generally. Um, and of course, IQ plays a big role in success as well. But it can't work on it in itself, right? You can't have a high IQ and a very low activity level. If you go to the big five personality trait tests, right? Where activity level is like you doing stuff, you're starting project and finishing projects, you know that type of stuff. It doesn't matter if you have 200 IQ if you have a very low activity level, because if you have a very low activity level, you won't be doing stuff, and that's the problem, right? Then you will be beaten by a guy with 85 IQ, right? That's working his ass off every day to achieve something or to learn something, and you're spending 1 minute a day not doing anything because you're lazy. That's the thing. I have a very high IQ, right? I don't have 170, but I have 146 ish. I was tested at a specialist in Gothenburg, and I have 146. But I have an activity level of a 95-year-old, right? I do nothing. I'm so lazy that I can't even organize my files in front of me. I just let them be everywhere, right? So my IQ doesn't matter, right? I will be beaten on anything by a guy with a higher activity level, lower IQ, because he's doing stuff. But if I put my mind into something, it's going to be hard to beat me, right? Because if I really, really put my heart and soul into something and, basically get a high activity level, I'm going to beat a lot of people at whatever I'm doing. Of course, not everything, but most likely, generally speaking. That's how, it's always generally speaking. So when people talk about IQ, I think it's, you have to talk about the person that has the IQ, right? Because the personality plays such a big role in how you are, like how the IQ is going to be used or whatever, So IQ doesn't really reflect success in and of itself. IQ is only one part of it. But having a high IQ and a high activity level, that's two things that are very, very baseline, right? In being successful at whatever you're doing. And then if you want to become successful in business, maybe you need to be extroverted as well. Like if you're very, 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 very introverted, it's harder for you to become successful in business, right? Where you have to be extroverted. And if you want to be a painter, then extroversion doesn't really matter, Then you can be an introvert and be incredible at your paintings, and it just kind of sorts itself out, right? Because you can do business, but you don't have to be this extroverted person, that goes out and talks to everybody and is this businessman or, this actor. Actors is a funny thing as well. You can be an introvert but being an actor because you're so good at acting. You can learn a skill. Yeah, but IQ in and of itself isn't a predictor of success. There's several studies that says this. It's a greater, you have a greater chance of being successful if you have a higher IQ, but it doesn't matter. So if you are taking a real test, I'm not talking about the websites, I'm talking about the real test at the specialist, right? An IQ specialist. And if you take an IQ test and you have 100, which is normal one, like it's the general population has 100. If you have that or lower, don't beat yourself up, man. Maybe you have to work a bit harder at some things, but work harder then, spend some more time. You will beat people. Perseverance beats talent every day. of the week. This is not just me saying it, like you can see it everywhere. Just think about the successful entrepreneurs, right? Are they the smartest people you have met? Most likely not. Some people are incredibly smart, but most people are not. But they are still successful. It's that perseverance, right? It's them every day doing the thing that they think that they have to be doing in order to come to the next step to be successful. And they're doing it. Like I know exactly how to be a successful YouTuber. I know exactly how to become famous or to become rich, or I know. But I'm too lazy. Like this YouTube channel and Twitch channel and everything. It's not my first rodeo, I'll tell you that. I make one, I have it for 2 weeks, it goes pretty well, I delete it. Like my YouTube channel, for example, I made 2013, I made 3 videos. It went pretty well. Got like 500, 600, 700 views on my first videos, in which was pretty good, right? 2013, it was pretty good. And then I just stopped. I was lazy, I couldn't be arsed doing it, like, it wasn't fun anymore. And this is a big problem for a lot of people, right? Yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna go, be sidetracked. IQ, should you care about, so I guess the question goes down to, should you care about IQ? And yes, you should. As a general rule, yes, you should care. But if you have a guy, if you let's say if you have a company and you have one guy with a 135 IQ, but in the personality test he has like 1 activity level, and you have a guy with 105 and he has 90 activity level, it's a no-brainer, right? You're gonna take the guy with a 105 because it takes very little from him. I'm talking generally speaking. Of course, there might be other variables, but generally speaking, that guy will work most likely a lot harder than the guy with a bigger brain, whatever you want to call it. Maybe the bigger brain guy will have some points of wherever where he's incredible, right? But the other time he's just gonna be lazy. He's gonna maybe hit on girls, whatever. He's not gonna do his job. So take the guy with a higher activity level. That's a general rule.